Welcome to the Great Game Debate Podcast, where friends come together to respectfully disagree about games with love and reverence, and maybe a little bit of mockery. As always, I'm your host, Caden Berthay Lane. We're having a little bit of a cozy, intimate podcast this week. It's just me, Jonah, and our special guests. It's Steven and Mateo, both out this week for various reasons. Hope to see you guys back soon. Jonah, how you doing this week?
I'm doing great. I've got a little side project that I'm working on.
Ooh.
My wife has been an excellent computer whiz helping me design not only a brand new link tree for just like our platform, but also helping me create business cards. I'm just getting stuff ready for
Wow, MVP Kyrian. Let's go.
getting ready for PAX West, so I need business cards, so I'm getting those created. And she's been working tirelessly all day on it, and she's like, "Oh, you want me to do
Married her for a
that?" And
reason.
she's like, "You want me to like handle that for you?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, go ahead." And she's like, "Okay, I created you guys a TikTok account. I created you this,
Wow,
this,
how much
this,
you
this,
paying her,
this." I
dude?
was like, you said you were gonna help me design a business card. And she's like, "Well, I just created a whole link tree and created all these social profiles for you. You're all set, and the
Wow, is
link
she an
tree
official
looks."
member of the podcast
Yeah.
at this point?
Community manager is my wife, I
Yeah,
guess.
awesome.
So she did all that. So I guess if you look in the description, there will be a link tree for you to have access to all of our stuff. And on that note, we also have our brand new Patreon, The Great Game Debate. No, yeah, it's just The Great Game Debate. And
hmm
I want to thank one Dan Giesland for supporting us. We got our first patron.
Shout out to Dan.
Shout out,
Thanks,
Dan.
buddy. Awesome. And our special guest this week is none other than Wout, aka the Hashtagonist of
Yay.
Playstack Games. How you doing?
Yay. I'm back, baby.
That's
Come
right.
on. Yeah.
We were just talking about it before recording,
Yeah.
but we just wanted to give you a big shout out because last time you were on our show, we asked you and you delivered to us a very helpful, what do they call it?
Feedback.
Constructive feedback. And, we drastically changed the format of our show, and it's been that way ever since. So we really appreciate it. And thanks so much for coming back on.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. I also want to say, I love how for the listeners, we were just pre-chatting before the record, and as soon as this dude hits record, he goes like, "And this is my podcast voice." And it's like so good. It's so smooth. Unbelievable.
Well, everyone, I hope you stopped by the Star Rail on your way in and picked up your space baseball bat because it's
I
time for the
did.
icebreaker. All right. Our icebreaker question comes in this week from a certain friend of the show you may be familiar with, our old buddy Wesley Bates. Shout out. His question this week is: you can permanently change one thing about the following video game character. Explain what thing you are changing about this character forever and why. We have chosen this week, very topically, the character Link from Legend of Zelda. Jonah, you're a big Zelda fan. Anything you change forever about Link that you think Nintendo's sleeping on?
I was just before we get to that, I've got two things. First, you said space baseball bat, and you missed spaceball bat. So
Spaceball bat. Oh,
Baseball bat.
so there's that, and then second, I'm gonna switch to a different Nintendo character. I think they should have a new voice actor for Mario. And how do you like the idea of Chris Pratt?
It's a wild choice, but I think it could maybe work.
Yeah,
I pulled off.
Let's see what he can do. Yeah, let's get him in the VO booth. See what happens.
for Link. See, I've been playing Tears of the Kingdom, and while there is a lot more story, don't worry, there's not going to be any spoilers or anything. There's a lot of VO, and I've always wanted there to kind of be that voice for Link. I think that would be interesting. But at the same time, I just want there to be more voiceover lines. Like, they'll do like 10-second snippets of like a character talking, and then it just goes back into text for like their whole thing. But like I feel like every
Yeah.
time you're interacting with that character, they should have just like voiced all those lines.
Sure.
Granted, I don't make games. I don't know how
Yeah.
expensive that's gonna be or how much that would like be just to put in the game. But hearing the voices come out of those characters is so awesome.
Mhm.
And I think you
Yeah,
need
so
to
you just
get
want to
someone
give.
like Danny DeVito to do Link's voice.
Yeah, because he's a short king. They're always making fun of how short he is in the game. So yeah. What about you, Out?
Well, if they give Link a voice, they should use Paimon's voice from Genshin Impact. Just to annoy like literally everybody. That would be so funny. That would be so funny. No, my big change for Link in this character is I grew up because I'm an old man with the original, the first Zelda. And you start off with the green Link, and then you get the silver suit, and then you get the red suit, and the red suit is the coolest, especially when you're like 8 years old. So I think all promotional art should go back to Link with the red suit instead. Like his ultimate form is just a red pointy head instead of the
Yeah.
green one. That would be my like just get him power leveled from the start. Because why does he have to start in his weak green suit all the time when he can
I
put on the
mean,
red
Yeah.
suit?
wow, in Tears of the Kingdom, when you get like the first item or like armor that you could buy is like the Hylian tunic, it is red.
It's not that
Yeah.
red. Yeah.
They got that
But yeah, I was
red.
gonna say they rebranded him with a blue Champions tunic
Yeah.
at the launch of the Switch, which is all red branded. They should have just made it red.
Yeah,
Maybe it's
so-
the next step. Maybe it's Switch 2. Then they
There
But
fix
you
it
go.
red.
you
Yeah. It's
can
phase
get
3,
the red
red.
Switch T-shirt in Breath of the
Yeah, I
Wild.
remember that. Breath of the Wild, yeah. That was a whole thing, man.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking the one thing I'd probably change is like they've made a big deal in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom about how much Link seems to love food and cooking. He's just cooking all the time. Like he's always making little happy dances and humming classic Zelda tunes while he's cooking. Wouldn't it be great if they went like God of War Ragnarok Thor style and just made him like, like a big boy. He's got like the belly. Just like that's what I'm talking about. That'd be pretty sweet.
Like every time you eat past your hearts, he just
Oh
gets
yeah, there
bigger.
you go. We just do the Fable thing. Remember Fable, where you could get fat if you just keep eating pies, and
Yeah.
pies. Let's do that
You
again.
eat celery to lose weight.
Yeah,
Fable.
awesome.
That was so weird.
All
Run
right, so
everywhere, but only lose weight when you eat one celery stick.
wait a second. Did we just turn Link into Santa Claus?
Yeah.
The belly, the
With the
red
red
suit,
suit, big jolly
talks.
guy. Yeah.
Okay, hear me out though. So you remember that old 3DS game, Cooking Mama? What if we had a Cooking Mama version, but it was just Link, and you're sitting there chopping
Yeah.
the vegetables, all the
Mm.
mushrooms, because there's so many mushrooms
Hyrule
in
Mama.
this game. Hyrule Mama.
Yeah. It works. It sells 1 million copies, no doubt.
Yeah, I'd buy it.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, before we get into the debate, wow, we do like to usually have just a short little interview with the guests we have on. I know you recently had a big change moving over to Playstack Games, who listeners probably most recently know from Case of the Golden Idol, which
Mhm.
is like one of the most critically acclaimed games of last year.
So,
I was wondering if you, I guess, take the question as you will, but if you could talk a little bit about what it's like working like on the PR publisher side. I think
Yeah.
they're probably kind of like the unsung heroes of
Yeah.
video games.
Yeah, the unsung heroes, and sometimes people assume that the publisher is the fault of everything when anything
Yeah,
goes wrong,
yeah.
right? But no, it's been great. It's been such a cool shift to go from like purely PR at an agency where you work with like 10, 12 clients a year, launch many games, but you're only touching the game like at the last possible moment. Like it's when it's key, it's reveal. You only get to touch it every now and then. So at the publisher, I'm responsible for the whole thing. Even from pre-discovery phase where we just assess a bunch of games saying, oh, this is a cool game, this is a cool game, this is something we should invest in. For the marketing side, this is something we should help on from more of a productional side. So I get to like look into that part as well, which is super cool. And you get more closely involved with the developers and all those kinds of decision making along the way. Like I said, with at an agency, you get the project at a state X, and it could be like we already announced it, we had a Kickstarter, and now we just need people to start talking about it. But now I can plan this out completely. Like my favorite part was for Case of the Golden Idol, we had Spider Blanca DLC coming.
Yeah.
And I said, well, usually at an agency level, I would know this is coming. I would create a press release, and then that's it. But now I could do a whole strategy where I sent like 3 teaser images to 3 groups of different people, and like if they would put the 3 images together, it would spell a date on when
Nice.
something would happen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that went really well. But that is stuff I can now sit down with and think about.
That sounds like a
because
lot of fun. Yeah.
that is great because it's just the one game I have to focus on for like a month instead of having to divide my creative attention over several projects. So that's great. I'm having a great time. It's only been 3 months, but it feels like a year because I've worked with this client when I was still at Evolve for like 4 years, and then they stole me. I hope my boss is listening. My ex-boss is listening. But yeah, it's been great. It's a lot of fun, and I think. Going there, I thought I knew a lot already about how games work.
Yeah.
After 2 weeks, I was like, I did not know this at all. Like, I did not know how difficult it is, for example, to just get a trailer on the Nintendo eShop, right? There's a whole process for that you have to, with milestones and whatever. Like, man, nobody tells you that when you're just playing games or just doing your job elsewhere. So it's very, very, very interesting. It's a lot to learn, and every time I think I'm smart, then I talk to my coworkers doing this for longer, and I'm like, oh, maybe not so smart.
Well, that's awesome. And I'm glad it sounds like it's been a good change for you. You get to be more creative. That's really cool. Jenna, do you have any specific questions for Wout before we move on?
No, I was just like, are there like a couple titles or anything that you're able to talk about that's coming up?
Well, we like I said, we just launched Spider Blanca DLC for the Case of the Golden Idol, and we just moved it to Switch last week, which is great because a lot of people wanted to play this but didn't want to play it on PC. So having that console audience in now is very cool. It's a crazy period to launch any game. Like we're still fighting with Zelda every day, right? Because it's just time that people spend on playing X over Y. And one of the games I'm super excited about, and I'm gonna shill for this at the end of the podcast as well, but it's AK-xolotl. It's like AK-xolotl. It's such a cool
the trailer
game.
for that looks great.
Yeah, like, and the trailer did mad numbers. It was on the Future Game Show.
Yeah, it's just such a silly, like, viral concept. It's perfect.
It's great. It's so great. And then PlayStation took notice because on their YouTube channel it did over like 600,000 views. And to me, like, I am still a little boy. I'm a weird little guy. So when I get an email from Shu Yoshida saying, "Hey, this game looks really cool. Like, it did great on our website. Like, hope everything goes well." That's wild to me still.
Yeah, no, that's insane.
And then all of a sudden I forget that. Oh no, wait! This is my job. This is yes, thank you, Shu. That was very good. Thank you.
Instead of freaking out, yeah, that is so cool.
But I'll talk a little more about AK-xolotl later because there's a demo out, and I think everyone should play it. It's so much fun.
Cool.
All right, well, thanks for sharing with us. I'll turn things over to Jonah for the debate.
Welcome back to the debate. We have a map debate kind of today. We've got Caden representing open world versus Wout representing tight sandboxes. Now, you might be curious as to what tight sandboxes or what the difference is between these two, but I'm sure we will get to the bottom of it in this debate. With each contestant having a 2-minute opener, 2-minute rebuttal, and a 2-minute closing thought. Wow, you are our guest. Would you like to open or close the debate today?
I'll start.
We'll start. All right.
Yes.
You've got 2 minutes on the clock today. 2 minutes on the clock. Listeners, I just want to let you know, since it is just 3 of us, we will not be having an assist trophy, so sorry. You got 2 minutes on the clock. 3, 2, 1, debate.
Okay, so here's the thing. What I feel is better about a tight sandbox. And if you don't know what I mean about the tight sandbox, is picture Skyrim, which has like a lot of landmass, a lot of caves, a lot of things to discover, versus like a world in Dragon's Dogma, to pick a random game, which is also a big world, but nothing is procedurally generated. It is all a designed place. So there is a cave, but the cave is there for a reason. There's a mine. The mine is there for a reason. There's paths in between. So it feels like an open world, but everything is very intentional. And this is what I prefer about that. If I play a game, I want to live in a world that is alive. If I play Dragon's Dogma and I find a bandit camp and I see bandits around there because their camp is there and I see traffic going back and forth there, that feels like this world makes sense. For other people who might like a Skyrim world where you have like 17,000 ice caves with 7 draugrs and an old salad at the end, why is that there? Why am I the first person in this world to set foot in this cave to get the treasure? I don't understand why that doesn't make people feel a little weird. If I know I am the main character in these
30
games,
seconds.
am I also the only character that does anything? And that's what I don't like about these huge open worlds with a lot of generated content in there. It feels removed from a world that is alive. If I in Dragon's Dogma go to the caverns, there's a meeting there because it's secluded, so people meet there in secret, and that's why I am there. That's why there is stuff that I can find there, because people left that instead of like, this is just a cave for the epic sword. Times 10.
Times 10. I love the times 10. Because that does feel like Skyrim, dude.
Yeah.
All right, Caden. You got 2 minutes on the clock for your opening thoughts. 3, 2, 1, debate.
All right, I'm sure we're all familiar with the meme of like the fake consultant guy in the brown suit with the crazy hair who's like, aliens. You know what I'm talking about? That's me, but I'm saying towers. Dude, as a tower enthusiast, let me tell you, there is no better genre out there in video games other than the open world. You just get to admire the majestic majesty, the firmness, hardness, and erectness and height of the towers. Sometimes you get to crawl up and slide down the outside of the towers. Sometimes, like in the new Zelda game, you actually get to go inside the shaft of the tower and get shot at high speed out the top of the tower. It's just incredible. Sometimes there's like bales of hay at the bottoms of the towers, and you get to like, gracefully dive off into the gravity-defying wagon full of hay instead of breaking your back. Sometimes there's a lake under the tower and you get to like make a big like splash of white foam when you like hit the surface of the water after jumping out of the tower. Sometimes the towers get creative. Sometimes the towers are giant robot giraffes, and it's just it's great. I mean, I think for now I'll see the rest of my time. I mean, I don't know how you can beat towers.
Kid, we're having open world versus.
I mean, I don't remember seeing any towers in Dragon's Dogma, so correct me if I'm wrong.
Blue Moon Tower, baby. We'll talk about it right now.
All right. Well, you got 2 minutes on the clock for your rebuttal. 3, 2, 1, debate.
Well, as Jonah pointed out, you are just a tower enthusiast instead of an open world enthusiast. But ask yourself this. Why are these towers there? The only reason these towers exist is for you to climb them to get that little dopamine drip of seeing the fog of war disappear. There is no context to these towers. It is a video game to-do list. While, for example, in Dragon's Dogma, the best sandbox in the world, obviously, there is also a tower. And you know what happens at that tower? An epic fight at the end of it with a griffin. But the best part about that is, as soon as I come over the hill and I see Grand Soren, in the distance I see this tower and I know I can go there later. And it's not just a checkpoint off the map, it is an invite to me as a player to discover that. If I spend my whole time just walking from tower to tower, then the gameplay is the tower unlocking game. Like, all they have to do is put a little bit of little dudes with guns there, and it's a tower defense game all of a sudden. Like, why would I spend my time there when there is lore to discover, when there is epic fights to be had, and all you want to do is just climb at a tower and then jump off it? Like, why not jump off a cliff? That is way more in Dragon's Dogma. You can throw your pawns off a cliff. That is so much more fun than climbing in a tower just for the sake of climbing in a tower. I mean, if you're such a tower enthusiast, go to Paris. There's one there. You can see the whole thing. Is that an open world or is it a sandbox? I don't know anymore, man. I just think you should play a real game every now and then and enjoy well-designed sandbox beauty. And that's the end of my time.
All right, leaving 15 seconds on the clock.
My strategy has worked. I derailed his argument into talking about towers.
If that benefits you, sure.
All part of the plan, baby.
All right, Caden, you've got 2 minutes on the clock to tower. 3, 2, 1, tower.
All right. Here's my problem with sandboxes. I don't like sand. It's coarse, rough, and irritating. It gets everywhere. Not like in an open world game. In open world games, everything is soft and smooth, just like the tower. You know what else is soft and smooth in an open world game? The tall grass. I'm sure there's plenty of grass in open world. No, not open world. Open zone tight sandbox games like Dragon's Dogma, but it's just there to look good. It's just there to like increase your immersion and the believability of the environment. But you know what it doesn't do? It doesn't allow you to crouch inside of it and cause enemies to suddenly just not be able to see you anymore. Even if it's bright green grass and you happen to be like an adult woman with like extremely long, voluminous red bright hair that would contrast very easily against the grass. But you can pick any open world game out there you want. There's going to be tall grass and you're going to be able to turn invisible by crouching inside of it. And that's just not something that's offered by tight sandbox games like Dragon's Dogma, okay? What else can I say about sandboxes? I'm not a fan of like how consistent like the quality is in like tight sandboxes. It's like when you're in an open world game, there's all of this like wildly fluctuating like level of detail, and it just keeps you like interested and excited, you know, because like every like 30 seconds or so, like the models like might pop in and suddenly have more detail and like more polygons than they did a second ago, and it's very exciting. You don't see that in the sandbox games. For now, I'll see the rest of my time.
Leaving 10 seconds on the clock. Very nice. I don't understand how that was part of a rebuttal, but you know what? We'll roll with it. Wow. We're going into round 3. You've got 2 minutes on the clock for your closing thoughts. 3, 2, 1, debate.
Well, I think your obsession with tall grass and hiding in it exposes a big flaw in your whole debate strategy. First of all, take the best known open world game, Skyrim. There ain't even grass in Skyrim. It's all ice and rocks.
Damn it.
Why do I need to go into this Skyrim world and go into a cave if I cannot even find grass? Like, a real designer would have put some grass in that cave to hide in, like you can do in a sandbox. But no, everybody has to generate new stuff. They think quantity over quality, which is just, we all know how this is so not true. But if you want some grass, I will let you know this. The grass in Dragon's Dogma has been modeled after a nice little road in, I think it's Wales, that they went to get a good look at the countryside. And you cannot tell me that Wales does not have the best long grass to hide in the world. I think if you look at Google Images and you type in Wales grass, you will be amazed about how good that grass looks. And I think if you look at it, you would want to hide in it. Try finding that in Skyrim. Try Googling Skyrim grass and see what kind of shit grass you can find. And that's, I think I'm gonna close on that. Wales grass will beat out Skyrim grass any day of the week. So sandbox for life.
All right, leaving 30 seconds on the clock. I was not prepared for this debate today.
I looked up the Wales grass. It's pretty damn tall.
All right, Caden, you've got 2 minutes on the clock for your closing thoughts. Let's close this thing out.
Okay. I'd like to touch on a topic that Wout pointed out as a failing of open world games like Skyrim, how you may go through the same cave, find the same old salad on the same old skeleton at the end of it. But one thing I think that open world games offer over sandboxes is the fantasy of the feeling of exploration and discovery. It's not about the old salad that's been generated by an AI program to populate the dungeon at the end of the dungeon. It's about the journey of finding the cave, exploring the interior of the cave, and eventually finding that old salad at the end of it. It's about it could be anything. It could be an old salad. It could be a cheese wheel. It could be a cinnamon roll. Like it's enhanced. It's infused with value due to the memories of the journey you took to get there. And in an open world game, there's just practically an infinite amount of cheese wheels and old salads that you can find to have memories of that you can then share with your friends. It's about the emergent stories surrounding the cheese wheels and cinnamon rolls in the games than the carefully crafted stories that the developer wants. They're forcing you to experience. That you don't have the freedom in a game like Dragon's Dogma to craft your own stories about cheese wheels. It just doesn't happen, you know.
30 seconds.
Lastly, kind of bouncing off of that point is just no one really cares about the main quest, you know. In games like Dragon's Dogma, the main quest, I can't even remember what happened in that game because I don't know if it was the translation team or what, but it was kind of hard to follow. And in an open world game, you make your own main quest. So there you go. So it's really a debate about towers and Dragon's Dogma.
Yeah.
So.
You heard it here first, folks. Caden thinks that Hestu's gift is worth it.
Yeah. Because think about the vast quantity of hours you spent on the journey creating memories to get Hestu's gift. So there you go.
All right. Well, I guess as the sole judge today, I'm.
Yeah.
I get to.
I forgot we were being judged. I was like, oh, we're gonna move on.
Honestly, Caden, you brought the comedy.
Towers, right?
You brought the comedy gold today, and I really appreciate that. But damn, is Wout like the perfect straight man? And you just taking me back, holding my hand as we're walking down the dirt road with the whale's grass blowing in the side, holding my hand, protecting me from the bandits, and letting me relive Dragon's Dogma once again. My points going to Wout.
Privilege. Yes, privilege. Yes. With one judge, you cannot lose as the guest.
All right, well, I'll go back to shoot myself out of tall towers over in Zelda.
Well, maybe
so
you find some
guys
cheese
have
on the
fun.
way down, bro.
Yeah, I probably could like drop a piece of cheese while falling to the
Yeah.
sky, and this guy would have him grab it back out of the air.
All right,
That's
real quick though. Actually, I do
Yeah.
want to try that now. Will stuff launch out of the tower if you drop it before you go?
Yeah.
Have you been falling in Tears of the Kingdom, and then a star fragment starts to fall right next
Oh,
to
yeah.
you? Oh my
Yeah.
god, it's so good because you just hear like the sparkle, and then you see a shooting star pass you,
And then you're like, I don't care what the hell I was doing. It's second fiddle now. I'm getting that star fragment.
Yes, so good.
Is that something they borrowed from Animal Crossing where you see that happen, or is it Zelda specific?
Animal Crossing wishes it was Zelda.
All right. With Wout being the winner on the show, we'll go on to our last week's debate, which I need to pull up my notes, which was Steven representing the Nintendo Switch versus Jill Grote representing the Xbox versus Mateo representing the Steam Deck.
Apparently. In the context of best modern platform to play indies on.
Losing by 2 points was the Steam Deck.
Okay.
And then losing by 3 points was Xbox. Steven, you're not here, but you won.
Hey, congratulations, Steven.
I love that you had Jill on. She's so lovely. My goodness.
Yeah,
I
she was
know, we
great.
loved Jill. Incredible. All right. Well, that was people just voting with their gut and probably not listening to Jill's incredible points.
Oh yeah, no,
But
Jill killed it
yeah.
last week.
Yeah.
And with that, we'll move on.
All right. We are back. Normally, we move on to our pitch segment, but we're having a surprise hype segment because we just can't not talk about Dragon's Dogma 2 when we have Wout the Hashtagonist on the show. As you can tell from the debate, he's Dragon Dogma's #1 fan.
Yes.
I'll just kind of give you the floor. Wow, just start talking about Dragon's Dogma 2 because I'm sure you got some take.
Maybe I'll let you guys have some words into it.
Yeah.
But first of all, it was very funny to me because I was watching the show live, right? Just like most people. And I think just before Dragon's Dogma, there was a trailer of that anime game. I already forgot the name.
Yeah.
Everything that happened before Dragon's Dogma 2 trailer, it has been erased from
Uh-huh.
my life. And I was typing like, oh, this game looks cool. I'm not sure if I can fit another anime game in my life, but I want what this game is serving. And then I turn around because I had it on the big screen here, and I see like the font type, and I see the griffin come flying in, and I just tweeted, "Yo!" And then before I could hit like tweet, my notifications was like 20 plus, which is like the max it will display. And like it was just a stream of like people like, is the Hashtagonist okay? It was so much fun. I had such a blast. The brand is strong, clearly, when it comes to Dragon's Dogma.
yeah.
But it's very funny to see like all kinds of industry people like losing their mind for me.
Does Capcom know the level of hype you have for this game?
There's one guy at Capcom who knows it, and he does the data reporting. He's like an insights person. And I was like, well, there goes your report again. And he's like, oh, you 100% positive announcement. So I'm not sure what he's doing right now because I know he had a promotion or something like that. But they must know. At least someone at Capcom knows. So that was a lot of fun. But yeah, no, the trailer, nuts, right? Because the last time we saw this was the whole T-shirt review. Like, we're doing it. The Dragon's Dogma 2. That was E3 last year.
Yeah, it was a year ago. Yeah, it was the Summer Games Fest last year. Which I love that whole thing because
it was good.
Just your Twitter page though, where you're wearing the sunglasses, you Photoshop the Dragon's Dogma 2 logo, and then literally the next day they come out and it's like almost identical.
Yeah, it was good.
And I was like, did he know?
The leak trailer.
Did you know?
No. It was just like I just took, and this is the worst Photoshop of my life. I just took Dragon's Dogma, and then I took the part of the big D, which I cut a strip off, and then I used it twice to make a 2 symbol out of just a strip of the letter D. It was like not very sophisticated, and then I just put it on, and then you can still see like the Windows picture, you know, when you open a JPEG on, like it's super low effort, but it was funny. But I tweeted it for like 6 months. Every time there was a showcase, I posted that picture of me watching future games and me watching the Game Awards. And then it finally happened, and that was fun. But then a year later, people were like, there's no way that we're gonna, maybe like a CGI trailer or whatever. But no, full gameplay, bam, 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 bam.
Yeah.
And it just looked so good. To me, it has the potential to clearly become my next favorite game because it looks like everything I liked about Dragon's Dogma. Prettier, bigger, and like even wilder. From a quick character models are great. RE4. The story, what I'm getting, seems interesting because there's this line like, "Oh, if he's just a mummer, what happened to our real Arisen?" And the thing is, and this is like deep Dragon's Dogma lore. If you get the right ending in Dragon's Dogma, what happens is you become the new Shanagal, I forget the name, and then you give your body to your pawn, so your pawn disappears, and their being become the pawn basically, so they can live a free life for the first time.
Wow.
So what I'm assuming is gonna happen, your old pawn is now in your body, who
Oh,
people
yeah.
recognize as the Arisen, but you are no longer there. You're the Seneschal.
That's really interesting.
Up and above. So I think that's the angle. And what I'm super excited about, and a couple of games have done this recently, God of War, and Zelda, where they take the same world and it's just like slightly advanced.
Yeah.
And I'm super excited to go into that world again and see what has changed, like the dynamic of like
For sure.
actual change in the world. Because in the end of Dark Dogma, the whole town disappears, right? It all goes into the abyss, and it doesn't look the same now. I think you see a shot of Grand Soren there, and there's a new statue of like a dragon slayer. So I'm super hyped to see what this is gonna be. No release date, of course. That's for a reason. I see. This is funny when you like do marketing campaigns, right? People, you go online and people are like, oh, no release date, no gameplay, no this. Like, no, that is specifically not done because everybody forgets about a game 20 seconds after they see it. Like that news cycle dies immediately during a showcase. So why would I put all my information in one trailer and then not talk about it until December or whatever this game comes out? No, you're gonna have another milestone news cycle, release date, gameplay. Like that is the reason why we spread these things out. I still hope for a 2023 release. One, because I get to play it sooner, and two, because it's in my fantasy critic league. Because I could not pick it. I think it was my first pick. So I'm super excited. Like it just looks so good.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember this, but I think Capcom stated that they're expecting this to be like their highest like sale or profits fiscal year like ever in like the history of the company. So like
just
I
because
don't
of
know
Street
if
Fighter and
Street Fighter
RE4.
probably helped them a little bit.
Resident Evil 4, and I guess the fiscal year goes to like March of 2024.
It
So
basically just started.
if Dragon's Dogma was part of that plan, maybe possibly new Monster Hunter. So like I could see it coming out by March. If it's that would be crazy.
I wouldn't surprise me. But like this was leaked like years ago, right? This was supposed to be a 2021 or 2022 title. And then
oh really? I didn't know that.
Well, I'm not sure how much credit you have to give those leaks, but it was in their financial report that leaked a couple of years ago. It was like Dragon's Dogma is this amount of money forecasted for this period, so people assume that must be.
I'm so glad that Dragon's Dogma doesn't like it gets a second chance because Well, did you watch the anime?
I did. The first 3 episodes were kind of good, right?
Yeah.
And then they went like weird fan service, like titties flopping out everywhere. Monster of the Week would have worked for me, to be honest, but they kind of made it a little weird, and they kind of moved away from like what the story was about. Like, it doesn't have to be the same. I didn't want to retread specifically, and I think the ending was still kind of cool, but it was all over the place quality wise, and that was just too bad. I think they could have done some interesting stuff with that. But yeah.
I gotta know, what is your like go-to favorite vocation from the first game?
Magic Archer.
Yeah.
Always. And every time I replay this, because I replay this all the time, I say, okay, now I'm gonna do something else, and I always end up Magic Archer because it's just such a cool class.
I just love like the ability where you put down like an arrow that emits light, because it's just you use that like all the time. That's good stuff.
Well, you have to ricochet lightning arrow, and if you go to like Bitter Black Isle, all these narrow hallways, and you just fire through them in the hallway, and everything dies. It's such a cool class. Setting yourself on fire and then climbing, like it has all the cool. I don't know why they made one class with all the cool shit in it.
If you're hear this podcast, you want to play Dragon's Dogma, pick Magic Archer.
You should.
I was just thinking about the parallels to Zelda, because so few games do the thing where it's like there's an environment that's literally pitch black and you cannot see if you don't have a light source. And Dragon's Dogma kind of stood out as one of the first games I ever saw that did that. And not a lot of games have done that since then. And so it's like you got to have a torch, you got to have your light arrow to stick in the wall, very much like using the bright blooms and stuff in the new Zelda game. So.
Yeah, no, that is super cool, and especially in the Bitter Black Isle, like the end game Dragon's Dogma is just so good. It is so good. And then if you go through the sewers and it's so dark and you don't have a light source and it's wet everywhere, so your lantern goes out if you run under a waterfall, and then you're like, fuck, because you have to like unequip it and re-equip it before you can light it again. Unless you shoot that light arrow, which is just so cool. I know, I cannot wait, because this was a 2012 game, right? Dragon's Dogma. We didn't have the fidelity that we have today, so seeing like dynamic lighting on a PS5 or modern PC,
Yeah, that was nice.
look even better than it ever could have been.
I have a quick question about the first game. Did it have like levolution and destructive environments? I know it had some things like you could like drop a boulder on like enemies and stuff.
Yeah, you can like break boxes and stuff, but it's not like a huge part.
Because like in that trailer, we see a monster stomp on, like, I think it's like a troll or something, stomp on a bridge, and the bridge falls out from under you. But it's not just like the bridge breaks at a specific part, or at like
it looks like simulated physics.
It looks like the part where they stomped broke that part of the bridge, and now it's leaning on that side that was broken. So how deep into the simulated physics and like destructible environments do you think they're going to go with for Dragon's Dogma 2?
I think that might be like one of the main places where they like level up the game compared to the original. So yeah, you could see the desire to do stuff like that in the first game, with like how dark it was and needing the light and like getting wet, like putting out your lantern and like, you know, making like ice and lightning attacks more powerful. And so
you could see like I think the bridge thing is very deliberate, because later on you see a skill where you like create a bridge. Like a light bridge or an ice bridge or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So them breaking bridges must be a thing that adds to like what character you pick. So that way you can get to a place you otherwise couldn't. And that's what I liked about Dragon's Dogma 1. Character creator actually was more than just what your character looked like. So you picked a very big chunky character, you could carry more stuff, but you were slower. And you could not go through certain passageways. That if you picked a small, nimble character, you could go to cracks in the walls and stuff. And it probably only worked like twice that actually had a function. But I hope they're leaning into that specifically, like that whole cat race that they introduced. They probably can do something. They can probably talk to other characters that you, if you don't pick the character, cannot do. Like stuff like that. I'm hoping that they're gonna lean into.
You just reminded me with the height thing. You literally can like avoid the whole thing where like if you get in way steep water, it puts out your waist mounted lantern because you're so tall that the lantern is above the water level.
Yeah.
So just stuff like that, you know.
Super cool. Yeah.
But
no, like obviously it looks great. I'm super excited about it. I hope it does well. So I can start hyping up Dragon's Dogma 3 after that. I hope the end game is there. And a lot of people are like, oh, I hope they do co-op, and they like, I hope and instead of pawns you can actually play together. I hope they don't do that at all, because it's gonna change everything what that game is. Like the beauty of that is having that pawn and building a bit of a relationship with that pawn, because they match your playstyle. If I can just bring
I forgot that was the whole
in,
thing.
like you have to rebalance everything. Like you have to rebalance, because if you co-op and you go this way and I go that way, like how does the game generate that world, right? A pawn is always
with you
in the same place as you are. I get how attractive it looks to just say like, oh, 4-player co-op because you can have a team of 4. I know, man, like a boss fight is gonna be stupid easy if you all bring your main character, because there's a reason why your pawn can
magic
only be
at it.
exactly, like there's a reason why your pawn can only be one of the starting classes. But we'll see. Like I get it. Like there's a reason why Dragon's Dogma Online did not do well, and that's probably part of that. But I'm just so hyped to see that world again. Because you saw a couple of things, like the big wall that you end the game on, basically where the dragon is. It looks like there's now a town in front of that gate. You know, and there's all these little throwbacks to what it can be. I hope they bring back Bitter Black. I hope it's that they support the game. That I can play it for quite some time. I thought maybe I should stream it, but I don't think I want to stream it. I just want to play this for myself. first.
Oh yeah, just soak it in. Yeah.
And then I will build the best pawn in the world,
And then
that people
speedrun
can
it.
rent
Yeah.
my pawn, and then
I'll
speedrunning
be
it.
good to
Yeah,
go up your pond. Yeah.
Yeah.
For
yeah. The hound will return. That's for sure.
Caden,
Yeah.
as a Monster Hunter fan, what
Oh, yeah.
what does this game mean for you?
I mean, this is like, maybe aside from the Horizon games, like the next best like Monster Hunter game out there. Like the original Dragon's Dogma and the Monster Hunter series. Like if you want to fight monsters, and they have this whole system that's amazing where you can crawl like Shadow of the Colossus style all over the monsters and like stab them in the weak points. And there's like crazy things you can do where like if you're fighting a Cyclops in the first game, they have like moves that like put themselves off balance. Like they do this big like spinning haymaker and they're like balancing on one foot. And then if you jump on them right at that moment, it like throws them just off balance enough that they fall to the ground and stuff like that. So yeah, that was one of the major draws of the first game to me was just the experience of like these are like, it's an experience fighting these monsters like a little boss like it is in Monster Hunter. So I'm really excited to see all the new monsters they have. Like that Medusa thing they showed looked incredible.
Yeah, there's
So,
some stuff that is from online, I think.
Mhm.
Like the Medusa and the giant, like the bird lady there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be great. Like, man, I cannot tell you. I can't tell you. I have been telling everybody how excited I'm about this game.
Yeah.
I like I said, I just hope that after this, there's like 100 me's that are screaming about how good this game is all the
Yeah.
time.
It's the second
Um,
chance.
But I will always say Dragon's Dogma 1 is a fantastic game. The first 2 hours are rough, man. Like a lot of people
Yeah.
bounce off,
Really
and
high curve.
I bounced off of that as well in the beginning because it was on PlayStation Plus. So it was a free game. I played it and I was like, this doesn't really do it for me. And it's a lot easier to bounce off a free game
Mhm.
than it is when you spend $60 and then I'm gonna see this through, and then all of a sudden the best game in the world opens up
Yeah.
like after the first 2 hours, right? So I'm glad I returned to it when I had nothing else to play. I was like, I think I'll give this another try.
I mean, at least it's only like 2-3 hours instead of some games where it's like, oh, you got to get past like the first like 10, 15, 20 hours and then it really gets good.
Like Final Fantasy 14. It's like,
Or-
just get past the first 80 hours. Like
Near Automata too. I'll keep saying I know it's a great game, but when you say you have to play through A, B, and C to really appreciate the story, like, well, do you know? Do you know?
Yeah, so can't wait. I mean, I shocked Wes because we got the Metal Gear Solid 3 reveal before the Dragon's Dogma 2 trailer, and I was like hyped out of my mind for that. And then when they showed the Dragon's Dogma 2 trailer, I was just kind of like, Metal who? Like, it just, I really can't wait. It looks awesome.
Yeah. No.
So
It's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a good year. Like the gamers are
Yeah.
eating well.
yeah, it's
This
crazy.
year.
I don't want to turn this into the PlayStation showcase recap, but Caden, what did you think of Phantom Blade Zero?
Oh, I mean, it looked cool. I've been skeptical of these games because there's been this like weird trend of seeing these games that are coming out of like Chinese and Korean development studios. Like one was like Black Myth Wukong, like looked amazing, and they just seem to just like never come out and then go dark. So I mean, it looks amazing, and I hope it comes out. But if it comes out, I'm there. It looks incredible.
It looked so cool, dude. Just like seeing like the parkour element. I've been wanting like a really good like third person like parkour game.
Have you played Sekiro? No, I'm kidding. Hopefully it's not that hard. But cool. Yeah, thanks for sharing your thoughts about Dragon's Dogma 2 with us, well. And,
anytime, literally anytime. Like you go, wait, how do you feel about Dragon's Dogma? Well, let me tell you how I feel about
you
it.
daily on Twitter.
Yeah.
How are your feelings about Dragon's Dogma 2? Cool. So yeah, with that, we'll move on to the pitch. All right, gentlemen, it is time for the pitch, wherein a handful of us panelists will have 2 minutes to present an elevator pitch on a game they've been playing, while the rest of us decide if we would buy the game or not based on the elevator pitch. I believe all three of us may be pitching this week, but Jonah, may I nominate you to be first up to the pitcher's mound?
Oh, I suppose so.
Let me pull up my little timer for you here. Come on, phone. Please load. Timer. 2 minutes.
This is gonna be
Battery
like
saver warning.
a legacy pitch, I suppose.
Okay.
Since this is going back to what's brewing in my brain. I won't be pitching
Interesting.
Zelda, I promise.
I'm excited. Well, 3, 2, 1, pitch.
All right. Let's go back to good old 2016 when this game released. This is one of my all-time favorite platformers. I absolutely love this game. It has insanely good combat, like combat designers from
I'm talking about.
like that are known for just making the best gameplay they possibly can be, and then pioneering some of the best movement in a first-person shooter.
Ooh.
This game kind of created the wave for us to have grappling in third person, first person, and honestly a lot of like side scrollers and platformers. They were one of the ones to pioneer grapple hooks in it. It was super awesome. This game has one of the best stories, buddy cop character campaigns that you possibly can go through. It goes through really high highs. The levels are amazing, and you really get a good feeling for the characters. They got great voice acting. Matt Mercer voice acts the main character. It's super awesome.
30 seconds.
And with my last 30 seconds, we'll just go into the multiplayer. This game has some of the best multiplayer that I have played, and they've branched out in the franchise in one way, and I really got into that way for a little bit, but I just want them to bring it back, and it's kind of struggling with bringing it back. But it's got PvP and PvE, and it's freaking amazing. That's where I'll leave it.
All right. Well, I heard buddy cop action multiplayer shooter. The only game that I think you could possibly talk. Matt Mercer voices a character, incredible voice act. You have to be talking about Resident Evil 6, right? That's what's we're
Oh,
on.
absolutely. Yeah.
I could agree more. Incredible 10 out of 10, greatest game of all time. It's in my go-to list. Yeah. So
is Matt Mercer?
I want to say he voices Leon in Resident Evil 6, but I might be wrong.
That's right. I think he does.
Yeah, they switched, and the last voice actor, I think his name was also Matt, so it was like very confusing and weird, but whatever. And then they got a different one, so yeah. No, I mean, say first-person shooter, buddy cop story, grappling hook, movement. I mean, movement's one of my top things in a video game. You know, if you got good movement, you could almost have like nothing else in the video game, and I'll be happy.
It doesn't have good movement. It's got the best movement.
The best.
The best.
Okay, so I think I'm in. Wow, do you have any thoughts rolling around in your head about this?
No, I just hear grappling hooks, and it basically sells me to begin with. Like, I will play any game with a good grappling hook system.
The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time.
Yeah. I also count Spider-Man as grappling hook.
Oh yeah.
That's like grappling hook the game.
Yeah. All right. Well, what have we bought with our hard-earned cash, Joe?
The nice thing is you don't have to buy this if you have Game Pass Ultimate, because it is part of the EA Play stuff. It is Titanfall 2, baby.
Taking us back. Yeah. That single-player campaign, it still holds up. I mean, it's like, if you're a new gamer and you want to see like classic first-person shooter campaigns, I mean, it's got to be at the top of your list. You ever played that one, Wout?
No, I've never played any of the Titanfall games.
Yeah.
I know it's good, but I'm just not really good at those type of games. So I think like I'll play, and then I think, oh, I'm good. I'm gonna go in an online lobby, and like, no, oh no.
See, wow, if I'm gonna sell you on this game, I'm not gonna sell you to go play.
It's honestly the campaign.
I'm not gonna sell you to go play the multiplayer, because sadly this is a dead game, and EA just cares more about putting their money into Apex Legends. Find this game for as cheap as you possibly can and play the campaign. The campaign is amazing. It is so good.
I mean, that was my experience with it. I just played the campaign, and it was incredible. Cool. Any final thoughts on Titanfall, Jenna?
Go play it, please.
Let's go. All right, thank you for that pitch. I'll put the ball in your court, Wout. Are you ready to step to the pitcher's mound?
Yeah, I'm gonna change course because I did not clearly understand the assignment. I didn't know I was gonna be
Ooh,
mysterious.
okay.
So I'm gonna be mysterious about another game that I will gladly pitch.
I mean,
Oh,
the listeners may have forgot about what you mentioned earlier, so feel free to still pitch
maybe.
the same game you had in mind. But either way, 3, 2, 1, pitch.
Okay, so imagine a class-based shooter,
Oh, I love
third-person
classes.
shooter, made with like characters you know and love, but then picture their friends instead of the characters themselves. But they're just as badass. They are just as strong, and they can kill legions and legions and waves of enemies. And then it's an extraction point shooter. Basically, that's what it comes down to.
Okay.
But not
okay.
you just don't have a gun. You can turn yourself into the bullet if you want to. You can
Ooh,
throw
what?
grenades. You can generate grenades. You can force choke. You can slam people in walls. It is straight up amazing. And then in the end, all your efforts are actually for the greater good. So every time you have a kick-ass round of this game, you support something bigger than yourself. It is one of the most beloved franchises, I believe, in this industry, and it's just a tiny part of it. And I wish you could still play it, but it's probably impossible to find a lobby for this at this point. And please, I hope they bring this back as a standalone because it was so good, and it's been utterly ignored in a recent remaster of what the game was part for. And it's not factions, in case you were wondering.
30 seconds.
No, that's I think it's kind of it. Like, so extraction shooter, huge array of guns and superpowers, basically superpowers that you can use.
I'm so
and
curious
other
because
mechanisms.
I can't think of what this might be, and it
I
may be
have
obvious,
no idea.
but you said the phrase, you said the magic words, you can turn yourself into the bullet, and that's all you needed to
Basically,
say,
yeah.
baby. I
Yeah.
mean,
See,
like, I'm in.
When he said that, I thought he was talking about Knockout City, and I was like, "Oh,
No.
dude, I want to
Like,
go play Knockout City again."
Imagine propelling yourself forward as a bullet and then just slamming into the ground, creating a giant explosion with your own
Yeah.
super
Yeah.
body. Like, it feels so good.
I want to have a super body that makes explosions.
Finish it off with a shotgun, get to the extraction point, get out of there. It is fantastic.
And you do have a super body that produces explosions.
Thanks, bro. Well, any final words, Jonah, about the game before it's revealed?
I'm super curious. I'm in.
I
I'm
feel
a
like we're
little
about to be
bummed
shocked.
that there probably isn't like lobbies for you to hop in and play in, but like I'll still check it out if I can.
Yeah, just talk about Timefall.
Yeah.
You want to know what it is?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
sir.
Mass Effect 3 multiplayer.
Whoa!
It was so good, man. That game
Oh,
was
man,
so
what a
good.
take.
Wow, that was not what I was expecting.
To be fair, this is the first time I've ever heard anyone talk about it, so I have no context if it's actually good or not.
I was a fiend in that game.
Yeah.
I was like, I wish I was a streamer back then because I played that for so much and it was so good, man. It was so much fun. Oh, I wish they would
Man,
bring it back. And when they
I'm gonna
did
have
the
to look up
remaster,
the Let's Plays. Yeah.
I was like hyped. I was like, yes, multiplayer coming back. It's so good. And they were like excluding multiplayer. I was like, no, the best part
Yeah.
of the game. No disrespect to Mass Effect 3. I still love that game, and I think it gets too much hate for what
Probably
it is.
some modded private servers on PC still or
Oh
something.
yeah, I'm
like
sure
that,
there is.
yeah.
But like I sometimes when I talk about loot boxes, I think that was one of the few games that did it well. Like you could get a lot of that stuff generated from just playing lots and lots and lots.
Yeah.
You could like speed up your process and spend $1,000, and then if you would be teamed with someone like a Will, you were like, yes, we got willpower in this team, baby. So it didn't hurt anyone. Yeah, no, that game was so good, so underrated, so overlooked. And then the more you played, the more resources you generated for your campaign, like in the main story.
Oh, okay.
Like it was one of your war assets if you played a lot of the...
Very cool. It's like Metal Gear Solid 5.
That's
Sort of.
cool.
It's like some
So
tie-in.
So good.
That's amazing. Yeah,
See-
first thing I'm doing after this podcast is going to YouTube and watching some
Yeah.
matches.
This is why I love having Wout on, is because he's gonna talk about some deep cut stuff that like very
Dragon's
few
Dogma, the Mass
people have
Effect 2
played.
multiplayer.
Like
Yeah.
he's just super niche, and I'm here for it. I'm always here for it. It's so great.
It's so good, man.
All right. Well, with that, I suppose, John, if you want to count me down for my pitch.
I got you, baby. You got 2 minutes on the clock. 3, 2, 1, pitch.
Okay. This is about a world in crisis. Apocalyptic event. A dark god attempting to destroy all civilizations on the face of the world. And the remnants of that world protected by a benevolent god that protectively seals them in like Pokeball style pocket dimensions, if you will. You're one of the last surviving people in the world, and you've been given the special power of this benevolent god to go around and collect these little pocket dimension spheres that contain the remnants and the people that were saved from the destruction of the dark god. And so the game becomes like a town building simulator where you collect these little Pokeball things with people and animals and buildings and objects in them, and you go to work rebuilding the towns. And the people have like they have like requests of you to rebuild the town not as it was, but in their perfect vision for the town. So your quests in the game are like fulfilling the requests of the people that you save. And like, you know, maybe someone in the town's like a fisherman, and he's like, well, I always would have loved it if my house was like
30
by
seconds.
the pond. So you put his house back right next to the pond. And then like there's like another girl that has like a sweet tooth, and she's like, I really would have loved it if I had been able to live like next to the bakery, or the pastry shop. So you fulfill her fantasy of there's like a worn out mom with 4 kids, and she lives next to these 2 bros that are always working out and fighting and making a lot of noise. She's like, can't I just live on the opposite end of town from them? And you can make that
Time.
fantasy a reality.
You heard it here first, folks. Caden making everyone's fantasies realities.
Yeah.
Man of our dreams.
I thought I had it at some point. I was like, is this Starlight Valley? Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I
what
could
this
see
is.
I could think that.
What's like some of the gameplay like in this game? Is it kind of like Stardew where you're building?
I've hidden a loop from you. The game is actually also an RPG dungeon crawler. So you go into dungeons and
Why
kill
am I
monsters to recover the little magic spheres that have the people and houses trapped in them. And then you go back to the surface and you start rebuilding towns. So you have this loop where it's like go in the dungeon, get more stuff, come back up, start rebuilding the town some more, go back in the dungeon. So
All right. Yeah, I'm in. This kind of giving me like Moonlighter vibes too, and I'm also.
Oh yeah, it's very similar, except you're rebuilding a town instead of running a shop.
If it's on Game Pass, I'll try it.
Well, I'm sorry to disappoint both of you that in order to play this game, you have to go on eBay and get a PS2 copy or emulate it on PC because it's Dark Cloud for the PS2.
Actually, I think Dark Cloud and Dark Cloud
Oh,
2.
it's on the PS4. Yeah.
You can play it on.
Psych. Go pick it up for $20 or whatever on the PS4 if you got one.
So I've heard so many people talk about this game.
Yeah.
Is 2 as good as 1, or does it kind of do the sequel flop?
There's some give and take with them. The sequel kind of cleans up some issues with the first game a little bit, where the first game you have like 6 party members and they each have like one weapon, and you're constantly having to like switch between them to like interact with puzzles, and it's really annoying. And the second game cut it down to just 2 characters that have access to all the weapons, so you're not going to do as much character swapping. But I think the story of the second game kind of sucks. But here's the thing. I'm just going to be straight with you guys. I think that Dark Cloud probably actually doesn't hold up. And like anybody who played it now would just kind of think it sucks and is mediocre, move on. But I just like have those nostalgia tinted glasses because I played it so much. But it's one of those games that like I have that nostalgia of, and I'll replay it every year, a couple years. So it's just like a comfort food game for me.
You did replay it somewhat recently, right?
Yeah, I think within the past,
Like,
sometime after the lockdown, I played it at some point.
so,
yeah.
I mean, you say you have the rose tinted goggles, but like, have
Mm.
you have played it somewhat reasonably?
I think I'm just like
up?
self-aware enough where I'm enjoying it and it's holding up for me, and I'm like, oh yeah, I love this, but I could totally see how everybody else would just think this would suck.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
like here's an example. The game has this mechanic where you infuse like gems into your weapons to increase their statistics, and when their statistics get high enough, you can like level the weapon up, and it like evolves like a Pokemon into like a cooler looking sword. But the weapons have durability, much like a certain other game we may know of recently. And if you aren't paying attention and you let your weapon's durability bottom out, your weapon just breaks and is destroyed and gone forever, which is also like that in Breath of the Wild, but the weapons are a dime a dozen in that game. This is like if your Pokemon died in Pokemon and was just gone forever. Like it's
permadeath?
really harsh. Yeah, like your weapons that you've spent hours like evolving into stronger versions of itself have permadeath. So
I never played this game, but I think I remember the box art. Is it like the
guy in a
little
green hat.
blocky guy with a bandana and like
Yeah.
holding an orb or something like that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the
I don't
graphics
know
are
why
pretty bad too.
I don't know why I know what it looks like because I've never played this game. But
Yeah.
I know what the
Mhm.
cover looks like. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
it's
it's
pretty
like a
much
magazine
like,
cover too at some point.
yeah. I think the main character is like Discount Link. He's just like a little dude with a tunic
Yeah.
and like a green hat, and he uses a sword. So
Yeah.
he doesn't speak either. Yeah, but I love the game. All the music are like earworms. I get attached to leveling up and evolving my weapon. It's fun. I just don't think a lot of other games have come out that have like the same kind of system of like rebuilding the town, and it's just like really satisfying to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, good stuff. Check it out on PS4. Totally forgot it was a thing. Thanks for that one, Jonah.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Thanks for the pitches, boys. And with that, we'll move on to the game. All right, we're back. I'm standing in for our resident game master, Steven. Hope you get better, buddies. At home with that migraine. But this week, our game is video game trivia, where I'll be asking your two glorious contestants here, Jonah and Wout.
At least one glorious contestant.
Yeah, it's a one-on-one duel here. 15 Jeopardy-style questions about video game trivia. Please call your name if you think you know what the answer is at any point, and then give me your answer, and then the other person will have a chance to steal. Starting off, question number 1. Either of these two characters were the first non-Nintendo characters to appear in a Super Smash Bros. Title.
Huh.
There's two answers here,
Non-Nintendo?
and you can choose
Wout,
either one
Sonic.
or both. There you go.
Oh,
The other acceptable answer would have been Solid Snake.
I was thinking Solid Snake.
Got it. All right. First blood from Wout. Question number 2. Dating back to ancient times, this egg-shaped wind instrument appears in the title of a famous Nintendo 64 game.
Jonah. What is
Yes.
an ocarina?
You got it. Ding, ding, ding.
Egg shape.
I had to get that one, or else I would have lost my Zelda
was the
credit, and
Jonah
I would have
question.
had to get this
Yeah.
like laser tattooed.
Yeah.
I was
off.
Like
thinking-
get a skin crafted off.
Like the dream game with the egg. I was still thinking Zelda.
Yeah.
Just the wrong
I was
game.
thinking like Berserk Baylet Eclipse, All right, question number 3. This video game franchise debuted in 2001 as a hybrid real-time strategy and puzzle video game centered on part collecting for a crashed rocket ship with the help of plant-animal hybrids.
Oh, Jonah. What is Pikmin?
You got it. Ding, ding, ding.
I never played Pikmin.
Me neither.
I was
fine.
I was
Hopefully Pikmin 4 's
super
fun.
confused. I was like, what?
Yeah. And I kind of forgot about Pikmin 4, but I guess they'll be ramping that up probably around
Well,
Summer Games Fest time.
You know, a console seller, Pikmin 4.
Yeah. Shout out to friend of the show, Jimmy Good. Check out his YouTube channel for those theme park vlogs. This questions inspired by him. Let's see here. Released in 1999, this was the first video game to prominently feature taking pictures with a camera as the main focus of the game.
Wow, Pokemon Snap.
Ooh,
Got it.
very
Ding, ding, ding.
nice. Very nice.
Question number 5. This commander leads a troop of the villains Larry, Morton, Windy, Iggy, Roy, Lemmy, and Ludwig.
Wow, Bowser.
Amend your statement. Final answer. Bowser.
Well, it's the skins, but who's the boss?
You have a chance to steal, Jonah.
I don't think it is. It King Koopa? Is that the?
And I will give Wout half a point. 0.5 is officially on the scorecard. It's Bowser Jr.
I almost
really?
said Bowser Jr.
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Easy slip up. Easy slip up.
He's the commander. Yeah, okay.
I didn't
Yeah.
know he was the commander.
A
Yeah.
troop of Koopa Troopas. All right, question number 6.
Say that 10 times fast.
Yeah. Balloon Burst, Bombs Away, Treasure Divers, and Handcar Havoc were all part of what 1998 video game? The first in its franchise. Sounds like a game that might have a lot of mini games. I don't know.
Wow. Point blank.
No, that's a great answer though. Chance to steal, Jenna.
Is it Mario Party?
It is. Good
Oh,
guess. You're ahead by half a point. Let's see if I can get another half point to
Could
catch
be a
up.
light gun game. Could have been.
Yeah, definitely. All right, number 7. This 1995 point-and-click adventure is based on the short story of the same name by sci-fi author Harlan Ellison. It features a cruel artificial intelligence torturing the 5 remaining survivors of a global apocalypse. You can see we've taken a left turn from Nintendo. I'll be surprised if you guys know this one.
can you read it again one more time?
Of course. This 1995 point-and-click adventure is based on the short story of the same name by sci-fi author Harlan Ellison. It features a cruel artificial intelligence torturing
Wow,
the 5...
Space Odyssey 2001.
No, that's...
Nah,
did they make a video game of that one?
I don't know.
But-
That's the
but
only
good answer.
artificial intelligence I can come up with.
Do you have any guess at all, Jonah, or is this just...
I have no idea. dude.
Yeah.
This came
This
out when
hit
I
a
was
gem.
born.
Oh, true, yeah. This game is called I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream.
Oh,
And the cover art's really disturbing. It's like a man who's been melted into like a slime creature with like Neo mouth from when like
yeah.
his mouth is sticking together or
That's
whatever.
hot. I
Um,
like that.
Deep cut. All right. Number 8. In July 2021, an original Nintendo Entertainment System cartridge of this old school fantasy game sold for $870,000 US.
Jonah.
Additional clue. Oh, okay, go
Go-
for it.
No.
It's dangerous to go to an auction alone.
Okay, Jonah. I'm guessing just I'm guessing just because it is the special cartridge. It's got to be the original Legend of Zelda.
You got it. Were you gonna say that before the tip anyway?
Yeah.
Sleuthed it out.
I was gonna
Okay.
say like Final Fantasy 1 or whatever.
Yeah, there's a
I
lot
remember
of
the
these.
golden cartridges. That was cool, man, back in the day.
Yeah, shame on all these people though. It's that racket where there's like a circle of like investors that are buying and selling their own games
Yeah.
to like drive up the cost so that other people eventually get scammed and
So
then
did it sell for
do the
that much
payout.
because it was like still in box and wrapper, and it was
Well,
like in mint condition?
in
or-
part it did for that reason, but also for what I just described, where a bunch of like insiders were like on purpose buying and selling their retro games to each other to drive up the price, so then an outsider would come in and they'd
Oh.
get FOMO and like buy it for like a lot of money. So and then they disappeared to the ether like, hey, I got my $170,000, you idiot. All right, number 9. The original Konami code gave you 30 of these if used while playing Contra.
About lives.
You got it.
Yep, that was before my time.
While closing the gap, only half a point behind. Number 10. Genetically mutated Bandicoot, Crash Bandicoot, is a member of this mammalian infraclass.
Oh.
Like, what kind of animal is he? Is that what you're asking me?
No, he's a bandicoot, but a bandicoot is a member of this mammalian infraclass. An infraclass is like a subclass of a subclass in genetics.
Wow, marsupial.
You got it. Ding, ding, ding.
Oh,
Pulling ahead. Have a point. All right, number 11. Although early versions featured a character named Ivan the Space Biker, the developer eventually settled on Gordon Freeman as the hero of this game.
Jonah. What is Half-Life?
You got it. All right. Number 12. Getting near the end here. This young, energetic, violet creature. That's violet as in purple, not violent as in like going to harm you. With orange wings, large, curved horns, a spiral-shaped spike on the tip of his tail.
Spyro.
You got it.
Damn. I was letting him finish.
Yeah.
Those are the rules. You got to play to win.
You know what? You're right.
Spyro
You're right.
t-shirt, man.
Number 13. Microsoft later reused the name of this AI sidekick as the name of their own AI assistant product.
I know
Jonah.
Yeah.
Cortana?
You got it.
Yeah.
Ding,
That's
ding,
the
ding.
one.
Almost
Couldn't
said
do it.
I almost said Katara, but I'm like, no, that's Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
Is it Katana? No, that's Mortal Kombat. All right. Number 14, the penultimate question. The M12 Force Application Light Reconnaissance Vehicle, a famous fictional armored fighting vehicle, is better known by this nickname.
Wow, Mako?
Incorrect. Good guess, though.
Can you read that again for me?
I'll allow you to answer again, Wout, because I'm going to end this with a additional clue.
Is the Warthog.
Oh, you got it, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry, shut up.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a tight game. Because of that half a point earlier, you guys are all tied up except Wout is ahead by half a point. Stakes could not be higher. Going into the final question. Set in a high fantasy world inspired by Sicily, the player takes on a quest to defeat the dragon Gregorian.
Wow, Dragon's Dogma.
You got it.
Oh my!
Sorry, Jonah. I threw you a couple of Zelda questions.
You put a
Oh man.
you put a Dragon's Dogma question as the
Just one. There were two
tiebreaker?
Zelda questions. Oh my god. I didn't know it was going to be a tiebreaker.
You always make the last question
Congratulations.
the tiebreaker question.
Congratulations, Wout. You win
Oh,
no
well
prize.
played,
Me
sir.
winning
Well
a
played.
trivia game is more rare than you think.
Yeah. No, that was incredible. Good show to both of you.
Those were awesome questions. Other than the weird,
Yeah.
man with the
I
weird
was
mouth.
waiting-
That was so.
I was waiting for Dragon's Dogma because they were like, I bet he threw
It's
it. Well, at
just-
least call it Dragon's
just
Dogma.
waiting.
And if I don't get it, I'm gonna look like an idiot.
Yeah.
That's how I felt
All
about
right.
the Ocarina of Time one, dude. If I didn't pick Ocarina of Time,
Yeah.
I would have.
You represented yourselves well. You're tied up. One person had to win. There could only be one. It went as well as it could have gone. Congratulations, Wout. We made it to the end of the podcast, gentlemen. Pat yourselves on the back. We did it. It's time for final thoughts. As our guest, Wout, I'll give you the floor. Anything at all that's on your mind or anything you'd like to shamelessly plug? The floor is yours.
I'm gonna
Yes.
straight up shill. I'm gonna straight up shill
Let's
because
go.
I thought I was
Let's go.
gonna put this in the game. You know what's even better? Like everybody loves axolotls, but you know what's even better than an axolotl? An
that?
axolotl with a machine gun. And
Oh, I've
that's the
never
game
thought of this.
I'm currently working on. It's called axolotl, but it's spelled AK-xolotl because it's an axolotl with an AK-47. It's a top-down
Incredible.
roguelike shooter. It's absolutely fantastic. It's gonna come out later this year. But there's a demo now on Steam. You can play it. The funny thing is, we thought people were gonna play this demo for like 20 minutes, so there's no save state whatsoever, and people are like speedrunning this stuff like over and over and over again. One of our favorite things about it is that you can find little axolotls, like baby axolotls, you can raise them.
Incredible.
They have different stats, and they, in the full game, they all have different affinities and all that kind of stuff. It's turning out to be an amazing game. It's going to be an absolute banger. Keep an eye out for it this year. But if you want to get a taste for it on what it's going to be like, try the demo on Steam. It's free. You can just download it. It's so much fun. Give it a shot.
What platforms is it going to be coming out on? And a lot of our listeners play on like other systems.
All platforms.
All
I
platforms.
mean,
Awesome.
Yeah.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, this game might be like a day one for me. Like just like the premise of a axolotl with AK is just like
It's so funny. And the
like,
name,
how can you
dude, the
not?
AK axolotl.
Yeah.
I love
And the
that.
music-
Dude.
the music slaps in this game. It's so good. Like it's this Team 2 Awesome is like fantastic. It's really, really good.
Incredible.
It's like Enter the Gungeon. Like people compare with that Enter Gungeon Nuclear Throne type gameplay. It's so much fun. I cannot wait to sell 1 million copies of this game.
Where's the team based out of?
They're a Spanish team,
Okay.
but their head office now in the Netherlands. But they have a couple people over the world.
Cool.
It's very good. Cool pixelated art style. And I'm not sure if you've seen the trailer. Go look up the trailer. It's so funny. It's like David Attenborough style parody.
Yeah.
And there's this one scene because we have like the finishing screens are like all kinds of memes, and the one that we show in the trailer is like when you defeat the boss, you turn into Akuma, and you get like the Japanese wing, and then you show that as an actual. And I think the kanji for Akuma is like death by 1,000 fists, I think, and I think we translate it to death by 1,000 bullets or something like that.
Man.
It's super good. Yeah.
So great. Sounds like they're having a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Cool. Yeah. Well,
so give it a try.
Very cool. Anything else you'd like to plug? Anything on your mind, or are you satisfied?
No, just buy all our games. Buy them all. Just spend
Search
your money.
Playstack on
Steam and just buy everything.
Case of the Golden Idol. We got DLC that just dropped too.
Yeah,
Switch just dropped.
We got so much good stuff, man. But yeah, no. And if you like my nonsense and you want to get like a lot of garbage tweets, then follow me on Twitter at the Hashtagonist, and the O is a 0 for some reason.
Beautiful.
Oh, and it's been a pleasure to be back. You guys are.
Oh yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure. And Jonah, final thoughts?
Yeah, dude. Wow, you didn't get to meet our newest member, Mateo, but Mateo and I are going to be going to PAX. The day after this drops, PAX tickets go live, so we will be seeing you guys at PAX. Hopefully, we'll be able to get our media badges so we can go in as media and provide a lot of awesome coverage for you guys. I'm super stoked about that. I've already talked to people, so I'll be going up with Mateo, and we get these media badges. We're going to have like a camera crew and everything going up with us. It's going to be super awesome. If you would like to support our community, you can financially support our community. There are 2 ways you can do it. You can go to our Redbubble store and get one of these sweet t-shirts, or you can be like our good old boy Dan and support us on Patreon. We have several different tiers. Thanks everyone for listening, and just share the show around. That's like our biggest thing, is we just want more people to hear it, because make it for you guys.
Sweet. Well, my final thoughts are just kind of on the spirit of this episode. We talked about at the beginning, while giving us such amazing feedback to Transform Podcast, and really we just can't thank the people that have supported us more. You may have noticed, keen-eared listeners, that we changed up the podcast intro. That was Mateo's brainchild. We just mentioned our patron now, Dan. He runs he does D&D DMing in the Discord on Mondays. Our logo was done by Hunter Pearson. Shout out to the brothers Pearson. Check out their Twitch stream. So it's just takes a village, and we really appreciate all the support. But
you're forgetting our music man himself.
Yeah,
he gets credit at the end of
every
episode.
We don't forget Matt.
We don't forget our boy Matt, Miss Riven. But excellent.
Check out the SoundCloud, Miss Riven.
Very
all right,
good.
Cool. Well, this has been the Great Game Debate Podcast. I've been your host, Kenny Bear Thaleen. As always, happy gaming. Bye.
Bye.
As always, a big thank you to our friend Miss Riven for the music in our podcast. If you like what you hear and you want to check out more of what they have, you can pay them a visit on Twitter at MISTRIVEN719 or on Bandcamp at Miss Riven. Thanks again for tuning in. Till next time.